Hey guys and gals, it's sundown now on a Thursday, which is it's my working Friday tomorrow, but it's kind of fun. I love the schedule where you have every other Friday off, because that means the one Friday that you do work, only half the people are there, which makes it a pretty mellow day, easy to get caught up, not a lot of distractions, and it's only 1 hour shorter than usual, so it kind of makes it like a holiday day even though you're working. It's kind of cool. Love that schedule. One of the things I really enjoy about coming back here, and the fact, of course, that everybody goes home on time. But I wanted to talk a little bit, going back, about check that, look good, about some email. So I come here every night, every evening on, Monday through Friday, except my Friday off, to this Green River Starbucks to answer my email. And it's nice because YouTube basically flips the bill for it. So thank you, YouTube, for that. My brother tells me this Brandon's place is good, but I haven't yet tried it. So I come in here, I have myself a little drink, usually a mocha, and answer email. And I had an occasion the other night, 2 nights back I think it was, that I was answering some email, and I got to comment to this one young man that wrote to me about how excited I was about his email, because it was different than most. And I would say that the vast majority of the email that I get from usually younger people who are calling to talk to me, or writing to talk to me about their challenges in life, and it's a very particular type of email that I get. And I know that it's not, I don't get it because I'm me or anything like this. I get it because of the circumstances of my life and the way that I present myself on YouTube. Particularly the past of Japan, where, if you'd watched my videos in Japan, here I was, a non-Japanese man with a Japanese wife and a daughter, set up in a home with all the amenities in Japan, a very exotic, interesting, desirable place to live, especially to, a 20-something that is kind of fed up with the rank and file standard issue living of Western culture. And here I am out there doing that, having all that, and at the same time going on what seems like constant adventures in the wild. And that's kind of a misunderstanding, because I know that my video production style makes it look like I'm in Japan, and now here makes it look like I'm in the desert or the mountains all the time, and I'm not. But so they would write to me, and usually they would say the same thing. It's like, how did you do that? How did you pull off the feat? They're addressing that question to me. Hey, Kurt, how did you pull off the feat of managing to create this life that they would like to have, or a life like it, despite all the difficulties, all the odds, that make things troublesome and make it difficult to do it? So now is the time that I get to distinguish between the types, the character of those email, and I'm riding no hands right now. I had to snap on my backpack strap. Let me talk about the character of the types of the email that I get, and I would say that the majority of the email that I get of this type read as follows. Hi, Kurt. Well, maybe not so enthusiastic. That's me bleeding through. Hello, Kurt. Been following your videos for quite a while, and I wanted to thank you for sharing about your life and your experiences in Japan, and maybe they'll say a couple of other nice things, which is always nice, and then they'll get it to the point, which is I'm usually 20-something, living in somewhere, and having had some ups and downs in life, a little bit of challenges, kind of got my footing again. But I really would like, and you fill in the blank now with whatever the adventure is. Could be, a lot of the time it's, I want to come to Japan. I want to come to Japan. I want to start a life there. you know, go have adventures, go see things, or sometimes it's something else. Very rarely it's something else. Maybe it might be I just want to get out of the situation that I'm in. I want to get away from Smallsville or Largeville, or I want to get away from, you know, the family that I was raised with, or the circumstance that I found myself in. You know, whatever the case may be, there's that old desire to just get away, right? Laboring under the misapprehension maybe, that we'll find peace and happiness elsewhere. That's a whole other video though. But okay, so there you go. So that's usually the thing. Some you know, salutations, greetings. This is me. This is my dream. And now the next part. Here's what almost all those emails have that character to them. The next part is where it differs. The majority, I mean, I would say in the 90 percentile of the email then go on to make recite or list out, sometimes in a bulleted list. And I'm not laughing at these people at all. I'm just laughing about the bullets, because I'm that kind of type A personality that if I was listing out if I was going to make a list of my grievances, they would be bulleted and nicely indented, and I would use bold and italics as well. That's just the kind of guy I am, so I can relate. But there are a list of reasons why this dream can never happen. And they usually include things like the following. My family, usually mean their mom and dad, would be devastated if I leave. You know? Number 2, I can't possibly afford that. Number 3, I would need some sort of an advanced degree to be able to pull this off. I need to finish my education in some capacity. That's usually a good one, because that's true, and especially if you're coming to Japan, you do need a degree of some sort. Additional ones might be I'm too anxious. I'm afraid. The next one might be I can't imagine how I would get started. Well, where would I even begin? How did you get started, Kurt? And it goes on and on and on. And I could start to list more, but then they might start to bleed over into actual things that I've heard people say, and I don't want to give away anybody's personal details, so I kept it generic. So, you know, usually when I get that, I kind of do this. I kind of sigh, not in frustration, but just because I've seen the story so many times. It's like a merry-go-round, you know. It's a come around, you know, every month or two I get you know, a new batch of, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful or like I'm lumping people as a group or anything like this, but this is just the experience. It's a merry-go-round of young adults telling me about their dream and telling me all the reasons why it can't possibly happen. And so I usually respond in a very as friendly and as encouraging as I possibly can be. I answer their pointed questions where they're asking for practical advice as best I can. Point them to websites, URLs, resources. You know, Gaijin Pot gets a lot of, it's a website for foreign resources if people want to come to Japan or living in Japan. Gets a lot of references from me. And then I say, I click on send and off it goes. And usually I'll hear maybe a couple times from these people, and then they kind of drift off. And I almost always try to end those with my emails, and I mean it sincerely, is, you know, keep me posted. You know, let me know how things go, because I genuinely am curious. Nothing would please me more than to hear them get an email saying, hey, I booked my tickets. I mean, gosh, that would really be exciting for me. I hope someday somebody actually sends me. I've gotten emails close to that, but not quite like that. So what was different this week? Well, I got an email from a young person this week, and he knows who he is if he sees it, because I've been very clear to him how happy I was to get his email. And this is a very rare type of email. I would say, you know, less than 5% of those dream emails actually unfold this way. And they do this, they have to start off the same, you know, salutations, this is my name, this is my story, this is my dream. Followed by, and here's where the difference is, drum roll please. So here's what I'm doing to make it happen. And here's what I've done to make it happen. And then it went on to list things, actual things, these are in the past tense, that have been completed, that are along the road to making this happen. And it was one after another, followed by a description of the next steps. Now, you know, you guys know, if you watch my videos enough, I'm a project manager, and every good project manager, to keep their stakeholders and customers happy when they are giving a status report and they have issues or anything like that, or they're working on a problem, they list out their next steps. Here's what's coming up next. And he even had next steps. You know, my next step is, I'm going to put the visor up for just a second. My next step is I'm going to do the following, and then the following, and then the following, and then what do you know? My dream will commence. I was so excited to receive that, and I've only received like I say, a small percentage like that. And you know what? I was thinking about it after I got that email. I was thinking about it. So many of those emails, whereas I don't hear back from the people that write to me and tell me why they can't possibly do their dream. The ones that give me the reasons, they're about to tell me their dream and then tell me what they're doing to make it happen. Very, very frequently, they actually do make it happen. I mean, I'd list some names here, but I don't know if they'd be comfortable. There's a couple of people in my mind. I'll give a little anecdote for one person that he'll know who he is if he sees this email. He's the person that gave me my first GoPro. You're a prime example. I mean, you told me your dream, and then really without much prompting from me or suggestion, you basically then laid out your plans. The next thing I knew, you were there, and you were doing it. And that was in my kind of my period when I was, and I still am kind of, you know, withdrawn from social media and the like. And so I never really told you how proud, you know, if that doesn't sound patronizing, I apologize, but you're young enough to be my son, proud of you, and deeply impressed. And you're on a small, in my mind, a small little shelf, top shelf in my mind of individuals whom I highly respect for having the courage to approach their dream. Now I know you've had your ups and downs in that, but I think you'll agree with me. And I think you'll agree with me even more 20 years from now that that's probably the best part of it in the end. You know, old cliche. So I had never really made that distinction until this week about the two types of email that I get, and I don't want to discourage from anybody from writing to me and sharing telling me. I don't want you to not tell me the things that are in your way. That's fine, but I'd just like maybe to share with you, to suggest maybe instead of thinking so much about the things that are going to keep you from your dream, maybe focus more on what it will take to get you to your dream. The people that seem to make these things happen are the ones that are telling me what they need to do and what they are doing. I'll give you just a small example from my own life, and this goes way back when I was a 20-something. I was really young. I was probably 21 maybe, or 22, and this is of course way before the internet. This is like back in the early 80s, or 85 maybe. I don't remember. It was really early. And I remember I decided I was going to go to Japan. And you know what I did? The very first step in going to Japan was I booked an airplane ticket. Before I had the money for the trip, before I knew where I was going to stay, before I knew anything about Japan, I didn't know a single dang thing. I booked a round trip ticket from Los Angeles to Narita Airport in Tokyo, and I had no idea what I was going to do when I was going to get there. I had no understanding of trains or nothing, and I got there and I pretty much winged it. I had a couple of people that I wanted to visit, but I was on my way all over the country. Students that I had made in the previous, I had taught in the previous summer as a part-time job here in Los Angeles, over there in Los Angeles. And so that worked out really good for me. That was a terrific adventure. But you see what I mean? And I don't want to hold myself up as a role model necessarily, but what the heck? I mean, I think that if people write to me asking for my suggestion, I would say if you've got a dream and it involves going somewhere, and it's someplace that's, you know, relatively a gimme that's going to be safe, like, you know, Japan, then I would, and you're young and you don't have a lot of responsibilities, I would just book your damn flight and then let all the pieces fall in place from there. I think you'll get by. Now, if you're not, if you can't handle that kind of risk, then take a more you know, considered approach. But nevertheless, if I would never have gotten, I'm sure I would never have gotten Japan if I had started listing out all the facts that I'm broke, I don't have any degree, I don't know how to get around, I can't speak Japanese, I don't have the right clothing, I don't even have a suitcase, where the hell is Narita anyway? You know, I would never have had that first trip to Japan. I never would have later met my wife. I never would have had all the adventures. It broke the ice block of adventure. It was one of the things that helped. Well, it was broken long before that. I broke that ice block of adventure when I was, you know, probably 12 years old or something like that. So that was well underway for that. But I think you get the point. So with that, I think I'll kind of drop off. Maybe I'll leave. I just realized that YouTube is giving away free music, so maybe I'll leave the video running and just plug in some of that nice YouTube music here at the end, and you guys can, if you want to stick around, you can see the rest of my commute. But for now, I'm going to listen to some music myself. Thanks for watching. Take care.
I hear the songs above my head. They are nearly faded. Every day I'm unafraid to be the last who made it.
When I sound the drums of war, unable to admit it, you were there to fill my home, to gain a sense of fairness.
Turn to stone, but when it comes to love, we're not alone. Sometimes I miss my voice in the depth of hunger. There's a way to calm the noise, scare the mystery monger. We are turned to stone, but when it comes to love, we're not alone. You can tell me now, do you ever wish I'd leave somehow?
So I found myself in tears. Every day was filled with fear. wanted more, and suddenly you're on the floor. And I left my heart with you. There is nothing else to do. I would like to have it back. It's broken and far from intact, and as dangerous as it is, we couldn't wait for the first kiss. Here comes the complications, and now we're slowly fading. I know what's on your mind, but now it's time to move on. We forgot to say goodbye. There's an ocean deep and wide between you and me, but still I'll be there if you say you will. It is not all said and done, and we cannot really run. We're not stuck and we're not free. I wonder if we'll ever be. And as dangerous as it is, we could